Alright, you know that meme where they say all new cars or all new SUVs or all new sedans look the same and then provide an image like this? Well, believe it or not, it didn't start out this way. You see, there was an entire team of people and millions of dollars dedicated to designing each one of those cars, and sometimes they copy each other. Here are two cars, the Toyota Corolla and the Hyundai Ioniq. The Toyota Corolla released in 2020 and the Hyundai Ioniq released in 2017. Now on the outside, they don't look the same at all. They're two very different cars. The Ioniq is this weird alternate powertrain Hyundai, and the Toyota Corolla is literally the most generic car on the planet, and also the most purchased. But when you look inside, you will find that the interiors are almost exactly the same, specifically the center gauge cluster. Now, this is mainly just a byproduct of a lot of the car companies going with similar design choices, but it's like divine inspiration. It's like a Toyota engineer sat in a Hyundai Ioniq, then came home and then went to his job the next day and said, I had this great dream about this car interior, and then designed the car. Like, look at how simple they are. So you see, you may not see it because Hyundai's is a lot more clunky and a lot more ugly, at least in my opinion. So you've got two knobs with a screen in the middle on both cars. You've got a row of buttons below that screen on both cars. Toyota's looks nicer. Hyundai has one above and below, which just makes it clunky. Then above that, you have two vents with a hazard signal in the middle. That's not that crazy. That's not insane. And then you have a very specifically shaped stick-up screen that sticks up into your field of view, almost the exact same size, just the Hyundai has the buttons on the bottom and the Toyota has the buttons on the side. It is so amazingly, remarkably close. Now, you could say, oh, well, Quokka, it's just the way that we design cars now. I will give you one thing. Having the hazards in the middle of the two air vents is normal. Having a screen in between two knobs with buttons on the top and bottom are normal. Having a screen that sticks out into your field of view is normal. But having them all in the same order, a little bit more rare. Especially since Hyundai's other interiors don't really look like this. And the same with Toyota. Literally, the Toyota Corolla interior is the only interior, well, at least one of the only interiors, to feature this in the same way. It's the same tilt, too. Because the Toyota Highlander has a similar layout, where it's controls, then the climate vents, then the screen. That's a semi-common layout in Toyotas. But the issue is, the screen is also a sticky-uppy thing, but they're different. They're placed differently, and it's not on the same slant. The controls are not slanted with the dashboard. Again, exactly like they are in the Hyundai. So they're just so amazingly close. Moving on, two cars that could almost not be any more different. The 2011 Hyundai Elantra and the 2011 Volvo S40. They are so insanely different. The Hyundai is from Korea. The Volvo is from Sweden and technically America because it was designed by Ford. And yet they have one thing in common. They were both in the hybrid craze. Meanwhile, the Hyundai went with actual hybrid. They had an actual hybrid. This is a photo of it. And the Volvo just tried to appear and, kind of copy a style, make it look a little bit hybridy and just say that it got good gas mileage so it didn't need to be hybrid because they didn't feel like inventing their own hybrid system because Ford was lazy. But one thing they did have in common, except on, I believe, the base trim level of the hybrid Sonata and the somewhat lower, it depends, because they were sold under the V50 and the S40 and the C30 for some reason. These were not the cucumber wheels, even though they do look very much like the cucumber wheel. It's very weird. They used extremely similar wheels, and the fun part is Volvo had been using these since, I believe, it was at least 2006. Meanwhile, Hyundai just started using these around 2010. Now, from a distance, like you're looking at them right now, you may say, oh, well, they're not that similar, but let me show you the wheels themselves. And even looking up close, you could say, oh, well, they're still not that similar. They look a little bit. It's just that they're very both fleshy. And the answer is no. Look at the gray pattern, the part that is not diamond cut, the part that is stained black on the Volvo wheels, and then the shape on the Hyundai wheels. They are literally the same wheels. The only thing Hyundai did was engrave the little star pattern leading up to that. Like, look at it. The lug nuts are in the same place in relation to the holes that are cut out on the wheels. The Volvo wheels are just ugly and age very poorly, and the Hyundai wheels were better thought out. But the point is, they're incredibly similar. The little cutout, the little holes are in the exact same shape. Next, we are presented with two cars that are also very different. The Honda CR-V and the Volvo 850. The 850 looks like it should be flying off a bridge after a dog jumps there and then killing the couple in Beetlejuice, and the Honda looks like something you'd see in an IGA. Two separate cars from separate times from different parts around the world, and yet they share one thing in common, and that is, of course, the taillights. Volvo has been using this taillight style forever, and yet Honda just decided it's theirs now. Look at the proof. I mean, look at it. They are literally exactly the same, except Honda chopped off the top part of Volvo's taillights. I mean, look at it. They are the same. The turn signal is on top. The turn signal is the same size. The red part is the same size. Just like if you cut out below the white part and above the yellow part, it's literally the exact same order. It is crazy. But don't worry, in the second generation, they realized they cropped too far, so they decided to give you the whole Volvo taillight. I mean, look at it. Again, if you just chop off the top of the Volvo taillight, it is exactly the same order. It is crazy. Next, we have probably the two similarest cars on this list that share a specific element which looks directly copied from one another. We have the 2006, and they're made in the same time period, the 2006 Honda Civic and the 2005 Audi A4. Now, from the front, they're very different, and they're all very different overall. The Audi is more of like a Volvo S40 competitor, smaller, more compact. The Civic is also smaller, more compact, but it's average. It's like Japanese. So they're very similar cars, but definitely not as similar as their taillights. Now, normally I would say this isn't really that bad. I would say, like, they look the same, but this is kind of excusable. There's only so many ways you can make taillights in the back of a car. There's only so many ways you can make them look different. At least Honda tried a little bit, but here's the smoking gun. Here's the thing that really makes me think it's like they're the same car. It's like the Audi A4 is a nicer version of the Honda, because look at the reversing lights, and then the extra red part. I believe that's the turn signal. Look at that on both cars. They're in the same place. That little white bar to the side, on the pointing in towards the car, is white. On the Honda, it's pointing in towards the car. And then you see that little dark red square there, which is the turn signal. Well, guess what? On the Honda, it's also to this pointing outward. So the reverse lights are pointing inward, and the turn signal or brake light, I think it changes based. Let me find out. All right, I was right. So on the Audi, the outer part facing, the outer body of the car is, in fact, the brake light, and then no, it's the turn signal, and then on the Honda, the part that's facing the body is the brake light. So it is flip-flopped, which is, I guess it's not, but I mean, come on, I can't give it up. The shape is the same, the location of the reversing lights are the same. Having the reversing lights and another red indicator in the same kind of group with one pointing in and one pointing out is the same. There's just so many similarities, I refuse to give it up. Now, for the next one, I've been playing this little game of look at this car, and then let's look at the similarity. With the next one, you're going to be able to tell instantly, right away. All right, so the Chrysler PT Cruiser and the Chevy HHR. I don't see any similarities at all. They're just so amazingly different. You know what I mean? The Chevy is blue, the Chrysler is black. I mean, the Chevy doesn't have fog lights, the Chrysler does. I mean, no copying going on here. I think this was just crazy. When I made the list, I must have been drunk or because, I mean, like, look, they're completely different. No similarities at all. All jokes aside, you may either believe me or not believe me, but they are actually designed by the same person. The name Brian Nesbitt, and the story is actually pretty interesting. So, the Chrysler PT Cruiser was announced in 1999. It was supposed to be announced as a Plymouth Pronto Cruiser, but then they had to change it since, Plymouth went bust. There's if you look at my video on why Chrysler failed and how I'd redo it, one of the core issues was that, you know what I mean? They got rid of Plymouth, which was their cheap car brand, so they rolled all their cheap cars into the luxury car brand, which was Chrysler, and then Chrysler became the everyman brand, and then that just screwed everything up. They should have made it a Dodge. Sorry, I sound like Abby Lee Miller. And so Chevy actually poached him from Chrysler. So Brian Nesbitt left Chrysler in 2001 and went over to General Motors to design the Chevrolet HHR, which debuted in 2005. Now, why would Chevy want such a car? Well, because believe it or not, people were bored enough to actually order and buy cars that looked like this. Some people still like the design. I personally think I think it's a little, I wouldn't call it offensive. I would say it's ugly. I wouldn't say it's that bad. Would I say I prefer normal cars design? Yes. But like retro cruisers were kind of all the thing back then. And the Chrysler had so much popularity. The Chevy never quite sold as well. It was sold as a panel van. They didn't know how to market it, so it didn't sell as well. But they were literally, Chevy intentionally copied the PT Cruiser and even hired the exact same designer. Now, in terms of looks, I definitely go for the PT Cruiser on this one. Yeah, they're fine. There's like the look. Like, this is something that I find interesting with a lot of car enthusiasts, is when you ask them if they like cars like this in the same style, like the PT Cruiser and and the Chevy HHR, they say, oh, well, they either really like it or they really hate it. I'm a person who's kind of, I'm an exception to the rule. I'm kind of indifferent. I mean, they look fine. I wouldn't really want to own one, but if other people own them and they like them, that's fine. But so yeah, so essentially these are pretty much all I have, because believe it or not, the auto industry is crazy, but it's not as crazy as like the military industrial complex or banks and stuff like JP Morgan Chase. It's not that crazy. It's not like Succession. It's very tame. So when car companies do copy each other, either intentionally with, espionage and sabotagery, kind of what GM is doing here. I wouldn't really call it espionage, but you know what I mean. It's a big deal. So that is all I have for you today. With that, thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And now we need to talk about something serious. I am sorry. I have not been posting videos lately. Why? Because I have actually been a very big part in a wedding. I'm not getting married, but one of my sister is. So I'm in charge of everything. And yeah, so I've just been crazy. I've been swamped, but now the wedding's finally over. I'm finally back at my house and out of Ohio, and all is well that ends well. So I'm going to be making more videos from here on out. I am an unstoppable force, and yeah, let's have a fun enjoyment of the summer months.